Welcome back. Still here on the campuses, the beautiful campuses of Florida Panhandle Technical College, right here in downtown Chipley. Here right now with Ed Medsuri. Ed, we've spent the better part of the day with you. We've talked to several people about what you've done. Pretty compelling stuff, a huge educational asset to the school.
Thank you.
In your own words, in a nutshell, talk a little bit about what we're doing here today.
Sure. So Florida Panhandle Technical College has been named our designated WeatherSTEM donation site for Washington County, Florida. So the system we've brought here today encompasses a weather station, a cloud camera, and an agricultural monitoring system. So all these things that are capturing weather data, pictures of the skies overhead, and uploading them to this platform we built called WeatherSTEM, where that data and those images are incorporated into K through 12 STEM content, innovative, hands-on, interactive curriculum. So our vision is to build a whole course covering weather, climate, and agriculture offered to kids all across the state, where the data for that course comes from weather systems like the one we just installed here today at Florida Panhandle Technical College. And we're just could not be happier with placing the system here.
STEM being science, technology, engineering, and mathematics.
Yes.
We have a very robust STEM program here at the Technical College.
Yes, I've seen that.
Headed up by Kathy Nelson, Cindy Pageant from Rolac Middle School, as well as our director here, Martha Compton. We had a robotics and a rocket camp this summer, our third or fourth year doing that. We are going to now incorporate the weather component.
Oh, that's so exciting. That's so exciting.
This is the 46th of 67 counties in which you've installed this type of a setup.
Yes, sir.
Talk a little bit about how you've been received throughout the state.
Sure.
And overall, the beneficial aspects.
It's no pun intended. It's been all over the map, and I think that most of the receptivity has been very strong. And I'll add that the STEM and WeatherSTEM actually has a dual meaning. Of course, first and foremost, it's science, technology, engineering, and math, but it also relates to the stem of a plant. Because, you know, when we come on site, in addition to the weather instrumentation, we install things that measure things like soil moisture, soil conditions. If you have a greenhouse, we'll put something in there that'll measure the conditions of the greenhouse. So I felt that especially in a lot of the agricultural communities, where they understand the critical interrelationship between weather and their main livelihood of agriculture, we tend to have had amazingly positive receptions. Probably none stronger than what we've been able to enjoy here in Washington County. And in other parts of the state, it's been good. We've had, we're, as I said, in our 46th county today. We're hoping to have all 67 by the end of October. And, some counties have been a little harder to reach, so we're just plugging away.
And I mentioned to Kathy Nelson in our conversation, hearing you speak was kind of like going to a seminar by Steve Jobs. And
wow.
Steve, well, seriously.
That's pretty flattering to be used in the same paragraph as him, let alone same.
I think it's entirely warranted, frankly. But the biggest reason that I allude to now is that when Steve spoke, there was always, and yet there's something else. At the end of his speech, and those were always the biggest and best things. In the case of you giving this presentation, you spoke about the nuts and bolts and basically but then you started unveiling the educational lesson plans embedded in your website. And on. It never seemed to stop. And I dare say if we spoke for another hour, you probably would have unveiled some other things once you start drilling down.
Sure. Thank you.
Talk a little bit about that evolution.
Sure. Well, my background, I shared with the group that I presented to that I've been passionate about weather and meteorology my entire life. And I've been a computer programmer for the last 17 years of my career, and I've written a software that's been used, across the state of Florida via the state's virtual school. So if you put all of those three things together and put me on a project that I'm really passionate about, I'm going to just work very hard at it. So I've just, been working for a long time to come up with these ideas, and how can we put together a program that assimilates a lot of different good stuff as far as kids learning data, building some lessons about weather, climate, and agriculture. And then I think one of the most important parts as far as WeatherSTEM is complementing it with real-world data that's being collected by instrumentation right here at the school site. So I have a very talented team that I work with that is, shares my philosophy about focusing on assimilation, bringing all these cool things into one package and using it to engage and educate students with. So, and I feel we're just getting started. I would hope that when I come back a year from now, I'll be back in the very near future in a few weeks to do some teacher training. But if we were to look at WeatherSTEM in a year, I would hope and expect that we'll be seeing a ton of things that we hadn't even thought of yet today.
Part of the allusion to Steve Jobs was the fact that you embody many different skill sets. You're a techie, you're a nerd.
I'm a nerd, there's no denying that.
And quite accomplished in that, but without the educational component, without some of the other drive, it wouldn't be nearly as effective. You bring all of those to the table, and it was obvious in your presentation.
Well, thank you so much. And that was one of the things that I think that has been a challenge to communicate, is that this project is more than just us coming and dropping off some weather equipment. It's more than just a weather station where you can see like what the temperature and wind speed are. That's one small but important component of it. And the real, meat and potatoes is what we do with that. What we do with that data, how do we use it to drive a next generation curriculum that can, hopefully get kids more engaged, asking more questions about science and data, which are critical next generation skills for them to have.
Well, I know we're the 46th installation, but I guarantee you that you're going to find that we're probably going to be right in the running for one of your biggest fans and one of our biggest implementers of these data.
That was very apparent, and even before even before Martha and her team reached out, in some of the other counties where we've worked in the Panhandle, I've heard a lot of good things about the program, the outreach here at Florida Panhandle Technical College. So when Martha reached out, or Kathleen reached out, it was a very easy decision. We were very excited and glad we were able to bring this and get it installed before the school year starts.
Just recently, within the last year, we had the name change from a technical center to a technical college, driven in some part by the fact that the data shows that with the change from a technical center to a technical college, we automatically enjoy about a 30 or 35% increase in recruitment because of the stigma attached against a technical center versus for a technical college.
Understood, sure.
That said, it doesn't matter what you call yourself if you can't produce.
That's true.
Martha has brought a vision and an energy to the table as director, and it's been inherited by all of the instructors.
Yeah, that's very easy to tell. When everyone that we've met today, the staff, the teachers, have just been so overwhelmingly enthused, and just, so many of them have shared the vision for the Florida Panhandle Technical College as far as, growing all these different wonderful programs that you offer to all these communities. So I can't wait to see what we accomplish together. I really mean that.
Well, it's a standing invitation. Anytime you're anywhere around, come have lunch with us, come hang out.
I intend to.
We appreciate your time, and thanks so much for taking the time right now to talk about
it's my pleasure. I enjoy talking about it, and you've been a wonderful host today.
Well, you'll see more of us, I guarantee you.
Wonderful.
Here right now with N. Mansouri, owner of WeatherSTEM. Has got his finger in many more pots probably than we're even aware today. Those links are on the bottom of the screen right now. If you're just a member of the public, even if you're not involved with a child in the educational system, there's a huge number of resources there. If nothing else, you're just going to have a ball taking a look at it. Check those out now. And more importantly, find out more about the over 35 degree and certification programs available right here at Florida Panhandle Technical College as soon as you have a chance. We'll be right back.